Stopped short of taking heroin. I did everything else, a lot of LSD.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just like trying to escape from this whole thing that was happening to me.
Bob, you got a wild story.
I had my first episode of depression 30 years ago when I was 17, but I didn't know what it was. I just was in a blue mood all the time. I was irritable. There were angry outbursts for no particular reason. But then there'd be episodes of flaring up of energy, sort of hypomanic sort of states. I was reactive, intense, very intense over nothing obvious, hypersensitive to the slightest criticism, however well intended. I just seemed to ruminate about it and magnify it. And then there would be odd surges of creativity and energy, which could go high or low. So I never felt I was one stable person.
One of the things we have to separate here is the difference between perceptual disorders and mood disorders. So if, for example, you're seeing things and hearing things and you have strange sensations in your body and so on, this is a perceptual problem. That's very different to feeling depressed or feeling elated, which is an emotional or a mood problem. So a lot of people with manic depression actually have perceptual problems, and we think the label is probably wrong.
I thought I was telepathic. I thought everybody in the world had read my mind and that they had a negative impression of me. So when I thought that I had caused people in different provinces commit suicide because of me blasting them with waves of telepathic neurotic hatred, I thought, well, you know, now they're going to get me. My parents met me at the airport. They saw me from 20 yards away, and I was just, and the first thing they thought was, chemicals, right, hallucinogenics. That's what my sisters thought too, and my brother, that I was taking a lot of LSD every single day because I was in that state every single day.
Our theory, which I think is correct, is that there's an abnormal production of one or more hallucinogens in the body, and we think they are derived from adrenaline. And we're looking upon noradrenochrome and adrenochrome and adrenalutein as potential candidates for this villain that acts on the brain as if they had taken LSD. It's as if I were to give you LSD once a day without you knowing it, you would then become psychotic, but you wouldn't know why. And so we think this is what happens in the body, that their own body produces these hallucinogens, and this is what makes them psychotic.
It all seemed very confusing. I read book after book, and some of the books said that you could add thyroid medication to antidepressants. So I tried that. That didn't seem to do anything. Then another book said you could add lithium. So the psychiatrist said, yes, well, you can add lithium. So I did that. That stabilized me into a seething melancholy. But at least I was stable. Okay? Just I was flat. I was flat. One of my clients, who's a therapist, said, you know, you need to go to a psychiatrist and get a proper diagnosis. And he referred me to one, and the chap was very kind, and he actually gave me some psychological tests, and he said, you have dysthymia. And I was so happy because finally I had a name to put to all these problems. But I didn't realize that dysthymia just means chronic depression. So it was an absolutely useless label. Okay? But then I'd been told I was depressed, or that I had double depression, or that I had dysthymia, so I had this comforting collection of labels, but not getting any better.
Well, did you ever read the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual? It's how they diagnose, and there's a list of, I think it's 7 characteristics, and if you have 4 of them or something, I'm getting the numbers wrong, you get the label on the top of the page, and it gets really crazy.
A couple of years ago,